This is the Independent Showcase, a brand new video series where we get to showcase some of the best, upcoming, and noteworthy independent monster trucks and teams that are running on the circuit. Our first episode covers the story of a long-running truck known as Mechanical Mischief. Tonight, you will hear from their driver, Josh Baumgartner, and learn everything about Baumgartner's beginnings in the industry, an in-depth look at the truck and what his team has in store in the future. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Josh's start in the industry is an interesting story.
Growing up, my father was a big time supporter of stuff that I like to do, and monster trucks and tractor pulling and mud racing were something that we shared a love for. And from 1996 until today, I have not missed an event that has happened in Minneapolis.
The tradition of going to shows in the Metrodome helped find his love for the sport that he would eventually be a part of.
So my father brought me to USHRA when they had the tractor pull, mud racing, and monster trucks in the Target Center. And then when Monster Jam started, we went to every single one of those every year. Sometimes they had multiples per year and we only went once, but we never missed a year that we went. So growing up, I've been around monster trucks almost my entire life. I loved being around them, how they worked, what they did.
One driver he may not have necessarily have rooted for when he made his routinely visit to the Metrodome, but would become very important later on in Josh's career, was the now 5-time world champion Adam Anderson.
In 2016, I was working for a company and we had a booth at Con Expo in Las Vegas. And 2 booths down from us was the BKT tire booth, where they had Gravedigger and Adam Anderson on display. And being that close, every chance and every break that I got to go talk to Adam. And one of our breaks that we had together, I just asked him, I said, I want to get into monster trucks and working for Monster Jam. And he stopped me almost dead in my tracks and said, you will never work for Monster Jam.
Most people being told this news probably would have taken that as a sign that maybe this career path wasn't the best for them. Determined to still be part of it, he wasn't going to give up that easily.
And he told me his reasons and I understood them. I said, well, that's not going to stop me. I still want to do this. So how do I get into it? He goes, you need to find the truck, you need to purchase it yourself and do local shows. Get your feet wet, learn how it works, be able to work on the truck. And he said, there's 2 things you must remember. And if you do those things, you will be successful in monster trucks. He goes, you want to start and finish every show that you can. And it's all about the fans. And he's 100% correct.
Many notable figures in the monster truck industry, especially nowadays and just starting in the industry, were purchasing a pre-existing truck and or team. The benefit of that, of course, being that they are able to not worry about building and constructing. Little did Baumgartner know that his ticket into the industry, an opportunity of a lifetime, would present itself.
Few conversations, few text messages and phone calls from that show, from meeting Adam. I actually found Mechanical Mischief for sale on Racing Junk on an ad that Jim Burns had put up. And I had messaged him, and within about 3 weeks, I had closed the deal, drove out to inspect the truck, and handed him a check.
Many drivers who get started in the industry aren't experts in the technical side of monster trucks, especially when working on them. After all, monster trucks are so much different than your average car, and this was the same case with Baumgartner.
I had never worked on monster trucks before owning Mechanical Mischief. So when I bought the truck, I asked Jim Burns as many questions as I could. And when I got the truck home, I pretty much took it apart here in my shop to learn how to put it back together. And that was basically, I've been self-taught and then had a lot of help and a lot of support from the people around me.
This hard work and dedication helped him gain a bigger insight into the industry and helped him learn the ins and outs of his monster truck. But Mechanical Mischief is not your ordinary monster truck. In fact, it's one of the more unique trucks on the circuit. The truck's history is an interesting one to follow. Jim Burns from Rockford, Illinois, like Baumgartner, had a dream to build a monster truck. And just like Baumgartner and any fan turned team owner, Burns' passion for the industry began in the 80s and 90s when he went to shows in his local area. Now back then, you couldn't easily go on the internet to buy a used monster truck like you can now. You either had to know somebody who was selling one or have the connections to those that do. Rather than buying a chassis or a pre-built truck, he would build the truck entirely by himself. Every dollar and penny he earned from his 2 jobs went towards building his truck. Using multiple big-name trucks as inspiration for his design, it would take him 7 years to finish building the truck, starting in 2000 before finally finishing it in 2007. A year later, he would finally be ready for competition. The truck would be routinely featured in numerous Monster Jam events and various independent shows throughout the late 2000s and mid-2010s before being listed on Racing Junk and bought by Baumgartner. What makes Mechanical Mischief so interesting is how unique the truck's design is in this day and age. It's one of the last of around 25 competitive Stage 3 trucks remaining on the circuit to this day. While it's hard to define what exactly makes up a Stage 4 monster truck, which is most of what you'll see on the circuit today, we can point out some of their common features, such as a spread cradle, extra supports for the inside and rear of the cab, a low-mounted engine, monster truck-specific axles and wheel parts, and typically weigh upwards of 12,000 pounds. Mechanical Mischief doesn't meet most of these criteria, understandably so for a truck designed in 2000. But that doesn't stop the truck from running with those that do. Josh would go on to describe in further detail what makes it so unique.
Mechanical Mischief is, a older design, but Jim Burns really did a lot of great work in making this truck last as long as it has. So it is an old box tube construction. You can actually see it behind me here. The main box tube goes all the way front to rear. Same basic design as what Gravedigger and Carolina Crusher did when they started their first tube chassis trucks. It's got a little bit of, custom made parts from Dan Patrick and DEI, and it's got a lot of custom fabrication that came directly from Jim. The axle housings are, first generation Patrick's. The cradle was bent tubing, was purchased bent from Patrick, and then everything else, Jim put together in his garage. The engine and the cradle sit up a little bit higher than the modern trucks today. So on a good track, and if I got the shock set right, this thing does wheelies like crazy. I've put a brand new motor, brand new transmission in. I've gone through the axles, upgraded parts as much as I can. The truck is a shorter wheelbase than most, which makes it a little bit more maneuverable.
Baumgartner has been pushing the boundaries of what was thought impossible by keeping up with today's trend with the 2-wheel maneuvers, even with a massive front bar on the front of the chassis, usually prohibiting the truck from rolling forward.
I've tried to keep up with the modern guys and doing the stoppies and getting that, but I've got a few things on the truck that prevent me from doing that very consistently and well. I've got a pull hitch in the front of the truck that sticks out a little bit too far, which I think you've seen the footage from Granite City, that first show in 2022. Went out to do a stoppie, I think the second or third attempt, and I had it vertical, but that hitch planted in the ground, and that was the end of that one.
Still, the truck is always performing to a high level, and one of its greatest strengths is its reliability. You see, what makes a great monster truck is one that can not only perform well, but can last the abuse that it goes through, and Mechanical Mischief is no different. In the All Monster podcast with Jim Burns, Burns would describe how one engine lasted him 7 years, a feat that not many other trucks and or teams have achieved. Josh would go on to explain how the truck remains competitive despite the age of the truck.
So this truck really, Jim tried to push the boundary when he built it. So he incorporated a lot of the newer design and geometry and everything that they were pushing the limits of at the time. And it really kind of, stuck with it very well. And with the modifications and upgrades that he's done over the years, this truck, even today, can hang with a lot of the big boys. I'm not going to test the roll cage like a lot of these guys do, but, in the future, you never know what this truck will be able to do. This thing's got a lot of life still left in it, and it's going to be exciting to see the next step with this truck for sure.
Mechanical Mischief is not the only project that Baumgartner has been a part of. He is the team manager for one of the largest independent teams, Triple B Motorsports. Josh would end up taking part at one of Trantina's shows he hosted at Granite City Motor Park with the Vardas Camp and Samson both at the event, after seeing Trantina's post looking for another competitor for the event. This event not only put him in the good books with Trantina, but with other independent teams as well. From his very first show, he talks about how grateful he was when the other independent teams offered to help him out with his truck, and now he has done the same for the other drivers, such as the Vardas. He will go on to describe his experience with helping them out.
We worked through the night to help Vardas put in 2 engines. We got one of them completed for the next show. The other one didn't quite make it, but we worked, just straight through the night, got a little bit of sleep, came back early the next morning and kept working up until showtime. And Mike Vardas Sr., told me after the show, shook my hand, and said, thank you so much for all your help. If you need anything 24/7, you call me. And that was one of the best things I could have ever asked for. He's been an extremely good friend, the whole Vardas group. He's always answered the phone. There for a while, he was calling me probably every other week just to see how I was doing. It's been an incredible friendship ever since that show.
In addition to Mechanical Mischief, Baumgartner has on a few occasions run the jet cars as a side act. Usually performing around 10 to 12 shows a year, the act usually involves burning down a car to impress the audience. He owns a total of 4 jets, with only 1 currently running, with the other 3 being worked on. You can be sure you will see more of these impressive machines alongside Mechanical Mischief in the future. The story of both Josh Baumgartner and Mechanical Mischief is a story of passion and a dream turning into a reality. From Burns' countless hours and spending every dollar and every penny to construct one of the most incredible machines in the industry, with Baumgartner now keeping the legacy going, pushing the truck to its limits and running alongside the giants and more technologically advanced trucks of today's industry. The future of the team is bright, as Josh further explains.
We've got a lot of exciting things that are happening this year. We have some new equipment and some new identities that will be hopefully debuting soon. The team's growing. We've been able to do a lot with this truck. My girlfriend, Kayla, has been running the jet truck with me as a 2-act team. So we were able to run the jet and the monster truck out of 1 trailer. So that duo has been extremely exciting for the last 2 years. And then with what's coming around the corner, it's only going to get better.
If there is anything to take away, it's that if you are truly passionate enough, you can truly succeed in anything that you put your heart to. No further proof than what Baumgartner has been able to accomplish, turning his routinely visit to the Metrodome to becoming an owner of this intriguing beast. Baumgartner has truly done it all. He has learned the ropes of the industry from learning from others and their dedication to helping him, and now returning the favor. He has come to embody the 2 most important things that Adam Anderson taught him all the way back in 2016. Start and finish every show, and it's all about the fans. His dedication to the industry is a story that deserves to be shared, and I couldn't be more thankful to share his story. A massive thank you to Josh Baumgartner for sitting down and participating in the interview we recorded and working together on this exciting project. You can follow his team's social media on Facebook at Mechanical Mischief Monster Trucks. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you everyone all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with some more Monster Truck content.
This has been a dream that has come true for me. We're constantly trying to improve, get better, be able to run harder, run faster, jump higher. This is definitely, only the beginning. I really can't wait to meet everybody that comes to the shows and follows Mechanical Mischief and my team here at home. So I really do appreciate everybody that comes and supports us and allows me to put on an entertaining show.